Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be customizing this Draculaura doll into the after school album cover. I started off with cutting off her hair to prep the doll. I just heat up the head with a hair blow dryer and just use that on high heat to soften the head and get it off. I went in with a X-Acto knife to cut off the points of the ears, and I also used a little nail buffer to kind of buff out the lines. I went in with nylon hair in the color Nightmare from Shimmerlocks, and then I used a mix of pink, purple, and blue. These were all colors that I already had, and I don't know the names of them anymore since I kind of combined them. I removed the neck peg with some pliers and some hijacking. Using the two-part A and B epoxy sculpt, I just sculpted her neck to fill in the holes. I also used hot glue to kind of fill in the hole since it's hollow. I went in with gesso to cover up the clay first, and I don't show this part, but I did end up taking like a centimeter off of the neck peg. I then went in with my Titan Mars pail, and I believe I added a little bit of brown and yellow to kind of darken the skin a little bit more. And I ordered this. This is from a Claudine doll from Generation 2. I also just used an X-Acto knife to cut a hole into her mouth. After spraying the face with about 2 layers of MSC, I went in with my watercolor pencils to sketch out the face. Now we're on the second layer. I already sprayed the face and waited 30 minutes. This layer, I'm adding darker browns to build up the color, build up the pinks. It's mainly just browns and pinks. Her eyes looked a little bit bluish, not bluish, but just like it looked a little bit gray. So I added a tiny bit into it, and I really think it looks pretty. It's super subtle. I can hardly see it, but I think it's a nice little touch. I started off with just darkening everything as I usually do for the last layer, and just add black and darken up everything. I even add a little bit of black in the inner corners of the lips since it's a nice little contrast. I only do a tiny bit, so after I did the other eye, I went in with watered down white acrylic paint to add the whites and the eye shines. I slightly changed the method that I use to draw the tattoos. For the first layer, I focused on creating the outline of the tattoos and adding in the colors. I've drawn these tattoos many times. I've done a lot of Melanie dolls since those were a majority of my commissions about a year or two ago. The second layer is adding in color, and just building up that color. And then the third layer, I'll add a little bit black watercolor pencil to outline the tattoos. I started off with layering a pink fabric and then a light pink lace fabric to give the outfit some texture. I started off with making a regular shirt with some added lace and puffy sleeves. I switched over to my sewing machine and started adding lace to the top and bottom. After I made the skirt, I attached it to the bodice, and I gathered up and added some bows. Here you can see when I curled her hair, it actually really didn't do anything. I took them out too early, so they fell. So for the little curls on her head, I basically curled it before I cut it and then used a little bit of styling gel and hairspray. But her hair has a decent amount of hairspray to keep down the flyaways. Moving on to the desk, I ordered this old desk off of eBay. It used to be attached, but I got my dad to cut or saw it in half so I could have them separate since she didn't really fit with it together. I started off with gesso before I painted it, I went in with a nail buffer to buff out any imperfections since there were some spots just from age. After I did about 3 coats of white gesso, I went in with this pink color to cover it. It took about 2 or 3 layers. After that was completely dry, I went in with a lighter pink and kind of try to mimic the font on the album. I added these little white flowers to the sides of it since it just looked a little bit plain to me, and they're inspired by the little white bouquet that she has sitting on the desk. After I paint everything, I can go in with matte varnish to seal in the paint. These accessories are made out of clay. The book is made out of clay and Warbler, and I basically just painted it. I sculpted the vase and then added in the little fake flowers. I used little silver loops and just kind of added it to the finger and then used mini pliers to tighten it. I glued on some crystals and then I'm using pink glitter hot glue to give her some nails. I went in with watered down paint to dye the bows since I didn't have that color, so I ended up giving it like a gradient thing, and I think it looks very cute. Here she is. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun. I'm so proud of how she turned out. Let me know what you guys think. And stay tuned for the next album project.